Hello, everyone. I'm happy to be back with another Young Indian, part of the Voice of the Young series. Right now, we have with us Devyani Srivastava. Let's listen to her. Over to you, Devyani.
Thank you. Hello. I am Devyani Srivastava. I am currently pursuing my master's in public policy and sustainable development from the TERI School of Advanced Studies. And my journey till here has been, I would say that ever since I've always been an above average Indian studious kid. And therefore, I took humanities because the family was also very supportive. And I just have been, ever since I was a child, I think I was very curious about the multidisciplinarity of problems. Of course, I think back when I was young, I didn't know that there was a word uh, such as wicked problems. But now that I have been a part of the academic discourse for quite some time, I've realized that uh, multi-pronged approach, systems thinking in the climate parlance is something that I have been gravitating towards ever since I was a child. And I did my bachelor's, therefore, seeking this sort of like a multidisciplinary vision. I did my bachelor's in economics and sociology because I thought that I needed, yes, a theoretical background, but also a technical one, which the combination provided me with. And unfortunately, I did my college during the COVID pandemic, and therefore, 2 years were an online education. And definitely, I'm one of the privileged. I belong to the privileged class, and therefore I did not miss much, but I think a lot was missed in terms of group discussions and learning. And therefore, I took a gap year after I finished my bachelor's, and I prepared for the civil service examination. And I thought that now retrospectively, I feel that studying for 1 year and doing the civil service examination really helped me bridge that gap, which I think I lost during the first 2 years of COVID and my bachelor's degree, because studying for that exam gives you a very different point of view because you're reading about a lot of fields. And yes, unfortunately, that didn't work out. And therefore, I thought that, okay, I've read a lot about governance, I've read a lot about state, I have read a lot about problems. And that coupled with my very real climate anxiety, I thought that, okay, the public policy and sustainable development course just seemed like it was meant to be. And therefore, I chose this course, and I am just a semester in, but I feel like it has really helped me get a grasp on what public policy is. So essentially, it's not just about state capacity, but it's also about where the state should and should not interfere. And especially given how climate change is such a complicated problem, that needing to know the nuance of it all and also the practical problems involved in creating actionable pathways is something which is very complicated. And yet, as a student, it's very intriguing because that is where you can do your most, you can think a lot. And therefore, I think this degree is something which I'm really enjoying at the moment. And uh, I think one of my research interests lies in how do you deal with waste management, and how do you deal with it in the context of the very unmanaged urbanization that is taking place in our country. So that is an avenue which I want to explore further during my thesis, which will happen in the coming months. So I'm excited about doing that. And I think one thing which I sort of realized during doing this course was that I've become more observant of the environment around me, in the sense that I am a resident of Faridabad, which is in Haryana. And we have a very, I would say, haphazard sort of development. And Faridabad is a Faridabad is a smart city. So on paper, it is supposed to be a city with very integral planning, a very intentioned sort of development in terms of urbanization, but that is clearly not the case. And one of the things that we do also study as part of public policy, or something which I've also realized, is how you also need to be a very vigilant citizen. And therefore, I did end up going to the Faridabad Municipal Corporation websites, which unfortunately haven't been updated in years. So there is no information about what the government is doing at the local level. There is no information about what is happening at the ward level in Faridabad, which is something that is mandated by law, that you need to give out these vital pieces of information to the public. And I'm not sure if it's a chicken and egg situation, that is the civic action at the ground not as strong, or is it because the government does not want to give it? But I just feel that there is a huge gap when it comes to civic management in general, and then it brings so many issues uh, to the mantle. And therefore, I think that is what I'm struggling with, being vigilant now. I think also because it's part of what I'm doing, so that I am embedded in this thought process throughout. So this is where I stand.
Okay, you have told us your professional side. Let's get a little glimpse of your personal side, whatever you want to share.
I am, my father works with Vodafone Idea, so I've been shifting since I was 5 years old. So I have traveled to a lot many cities in the country. I've stayed in Bareilly, I have stayed in Ahmedabad, I've stayed in Mumbai, I've also stayed in Faridabad. And I think that has sort of given me a glimpse of which, again, I mean, I would say that I have also lived in very metropolitan mixed pot sort of a thing. But I think I've been very acclimatized to cultural differences, which I think has maybe made me a little bit more tolerable when it comes to, say, interacting with people. And the other thing would be that I listen to a lot of podcasts, and one which I particularly enjoy is one anchored by Ajay Shah, who is also an economist, and Amit Verma. So it's called The Seen and the Unseen, and Everything is Everything. So I think one of the great things really about social media has been that while I am usually a cynic when it comes to social media and avenues like Instagram, but I would say that the social media has really helped disseminate a lot of information and has made it very convenient for people to learn. And that is, I mean, I'm definitely a beneficiary of that. So yes, I think that would be my personal life.
All right, tell us a bit about Bareilly. It's such an iconic city, but what is it really like?
So Bareilly, I was in grade one when I
Okay,
was
too
in
young.
Bareilly. So
Eh,
yeah, I was too young,
Too young.
definitely. But I do remember how tight knit it was in terms of community.
Yeah,
And yeah, yes. But I also feel like I'm from the privileged class. So I've always been in a gated community in any place that I have been.
yeah.
So I would say I have a very biased view
Okay, but tell us the
of a lot
biased
many
view.
places.
What tell us the biased?
No, but definitely, I think Bareilly or any place that I've been to, it's because there's always a metropolitan vibe to every city that I've been to.
Okay,
So I wouldn't say that there has not been a cultural shock per se with in any place that I have visited. And I think it's also because I have been in schools which have been English medium.
hmm.
So I think there is sort of like a homogeneity which creeps in
Okay,
invariably.
okay. All
Yes.
right. You use the word privilege so many times. Let's talk a bit about it. I mean, first, how come you're so conscious of it? I mean, not
Yes.
everybody is. So, what is it in you that you're so conscious of it?
I uh, I don't know if it's just inherent, but I say this particularly now because uh, I live in a gated community in Faridabad, and usually I travel a lot by the e-rickshaw. So what the e-rickshaw essentially is that you go to the nooks and crannies of your city. So you observe more and you see how people who don't live in those gated communities live. And I see everything which is wrong in those areas, which are just at the periphery of where I live, which is just a not even a kilometer away from where I live. And I see how the waste is managed so improperly that there are public health implications to it.
Mm.
I see construction and demolition waste just lying at every 500 meter from me, and there is no action anywhere. And I
Mm.
see no avenue of getting the grievance
Mm.
addressed. And I think that's one of the reasons why I am acutely aware,
Mm.
because every time I step out of the house, it is right in my face.
All right.
So, yeah, that is
Okay.
probably the
Well,
reason.
you have any plans to use it for some purpose, or it's just that you are aware
Yes.
of?
No, definitely. I think that's one of the reasons I also took this course, because now uh, I'm aware of it all. And I think I've done a lot of that awareness inculcation in me.
Mm.
And now the idea is that once I get done with my degree, I want to work with maybe grassroots local organizations and see
Mhm.
how do you start with that, because India is a large country, and when you talk about these very complicated problems, there is no one solution to it, unfortunately. So any change you bring will affect the lives of a lot many people in proportion when it comes to India. So uh, I'm not sure what I will do. I don't know in what capacity I will work, but I do know that I have the aptitude, the ability, and also the interest to work in the social sector. And that is definitely what I'm aspiring to do
Okay.
as a way forward.
Okay, but now tell us a bit about what TERI is teaching. I mean, you've been only there one semester, but
Yes,
how do you think about sustainability? That's your
sure.
topic, right? So tell us a bit about
Yes.
how you think about it.
So giving a quick background of TERI. So TERI is the Energy and Resource Institute of India. And the degree that I'm in, the public policy, this is the first time that they have started teaching fresh graduates public policy and sustainable development. So essentially, it was a course made for upskilling existing civil servants. So ours is the batch which is the first in terms of teaching people who have just graduated.
Yeah.
And so it's a sustainability centric college. Every degree that they have, even law and management, all of them are wired towards sustainability. And as far as the second part of the question is concerned, I see sustainability as uh, increasing capability. So it's very Amartya Sen, but I would say that I envisage any sustainable system to be a system which is capable of reinventing itself when tragedy strikes in very short terms.
Okay.
So it could be a lot of things. Again, it's multifaceted, but uh, it's a complicated thing, which also I'm sure if enough of us work together with that intent, we can make a good enough change.
Okay. Okay. Any tips you have for young people? Because you seem to know quite a bit about your own decisions and so on.
Hmm.
So, what are the tips that you have for young people?
For young people, I mean, I'm also pretty young,
I
but
know,
I
but
would.
I'm talking
Okay,
about,
yes, yes.
students in
Hmm.
11th and 12th who are struggling with what's the stream to take, people who
Right,
are in first year of college and
right.
deciding, what to do after their bachelor's and also there's a lot of decisions that you seem to have made without regret. Let us put it this way.
Yes,
So, could
yes.
you, for the sake of the people younger than you, could you share something about it?
I have definitely thought a lot about my decisions in life, and I would say that you need to have a broader value system. So you need to also have an umbrella of values that you aspire to have.
Hmm.
So be it any career that you choose, there are certain values that help you, that if you achieve them, that they help you sleep at night.
Hmm.
And that's what my really life goal has been, that
Hmm.
if every action of mine needs to not, again, as you said, have any regret. So I think that just makes it a little easy to filter out many things that you would not have otherwise done.
Mm.
So I think that would be my advice to the young
Okay,
people
fine.
there.
Okay,
Yes.
it seems like we are coming to a close of what you want to say. So my usual procedure is to ask the speaker to have the last word. So final
Okay.
comment or last word from you.
I would say that to anybody who's listening to this, and especially people who are not working in the climate sector, I am biased. So I would say that let's all just be a little more conscious in our life, uh, and take decisions which are not just uh, something that benefits us, but benefits people around us. And I think that is how we really need to live our lives. And yes, that would be my end
Okay,
note.
well, thank you, Devyani. You have made your points very clearly and openly, and you admitted your failures and said you learned from it. That's quite something. Okay, I
Yeah.
flunked UPSC, but hey, that was the right thing for me. All
Yes.
right, fine. It's a good spirit to have. Let's end it here today. I'll be back with
Yes.
your people or an expert soon. Don't go away. I have a lot to talk to you offline. Till then, bye, everybody.